this is gonna lead us into the next chapter of our life. Alec led the way. Fatherhood. What name is it that we think that we want?
I think we're gonna go with Zaddy's. O'Shea really likes that one.
He likes it too. All right. What up? What up? What up?
What it do? What it do?
It's episode 1.2 of
The Zaddy Show.
You almost said the Daddy Show. That's cool too. It's the Zaddy Show.
Zaddy.
Man. First of all, we just want to say shout out to everybody that is already supporting us. I mean, we really just started, but it's something that we've been thinking about for a while, and it's pretty crazy how they heard about what we're doing. We got so much good energy and feedback. You feel me?
Yeah, for real. That small group, that's a real group right there. Yeah. Showing support already.
Facts.
Showing love. I definitely appreciate it. Grateful. Thank y'all.
We're up to 100 and maybe 107 followers on at the Zaddy Show. And if that's as many as we get, I'm good with that, because this is really about two brothers that are entering fatherhood. One for me, and he's been in fatherhood for at least 2 years now, right?
Yeah, she going on 2. She'll be 2 in August.
So this is really about us sharing our experiences and really learning and growing together. So the fact that 100 people even care about that, care about us extending our brotherhood to an audience, that's real. So cheers to y'all.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, man. Sipping a little seltzer. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are wondering, why did they come up with the Zaddy Show? Or how did they come up with the name? Y'all get why we have it. Maybe by your definition of the Zaddy, maybe we feel that definition. I don't know, that's up to you. But maybe they're wondering why we chose that for our show.
Yeah, I think we gotta delve into the title Zaddy.
Yeah.
A little bit. I think we gotta talk about that a little bit.
I think we do too, man. So what better way to start, I guess, this journey with a little fun? And let's go to Urban Dictionary. Let's go to Urban Dictionary.
We're gonna read y'all some of these definitions.
Let's see. Let me type it in.
Of Zaddy.
Zaddy, okay. And Alec, you can go first.
Alright. So Urban Dictionary has Zaddy defined as, and I think we are all of the above, by the way.
Okay.
A fine, handsome, and sexy ass intelligent man that makes you smile and drip every time you see it.
Dang, it's like that. Drip.
I said drip, man. Okay. You got the next one, cousin.
That ain't it, bro. Read the whole paragraph.
He knows how to handle business, okay. And out of the bedroom, you low key want to have his baby. Okay, so
clearly.
Okay, so it fits perfect. He makes all parts of you excited, including your mind, for sure. He smells good, looks good, and is good. Hell yeah. This is an example if used in a sentence. Hell yeah, my Zaddy is all of that. Damn, Zaddy got all my lips smiling. My Zaddy is the shit. I have to blur that out.
Oh man. Anyway, definition 2, Zaddy. Zaddy is a noun used for handsome, fashionable, sexy man with swag. I got a good one, easy one. Zaddy can also be used to imply sexual roles, a more dominant position in a relationship, a modernized term for daddy, Poppy. Have you ever been called Poppy before?
Yeah, I get called Poppy every day.
Dang, that's what's up. I don't think I've ever been called Poppy before, but maybe because I'm not Latin. I don't know. We'll see.
You got a Hispanic woman, but I feel like you might have to be a Hispanic man and be called Poppy. I don't know.
And I will just go with I've never been called Poppy before, because it's better that way.
Alright, so number 3. Zaddy, typically a guy who's older than you but sexy as AF. He makes you wet just thinking about him. You even considered having his baby. Spoils you rotten, treats you right, and F's you even better.
They going in.
Dog.
Man.
Read the next one, bro.
Okay, this is an example. I can't wait till my Zaddy get here. We going shopping, then to eat, and then he gonna F me silly. Oh man, you know what? So we can pause for a second. At no point in time when we decided the name of this show did we realize that these were the Urban Dictionary like descriptions of Zaddy. We were leaning more towards the fact that it's like a fashionable, handsome man that handles his business, that's ambitious.
He knew what it was. He knew what it meant. He knew what it meant.
We knew that there was a connotation to where it's like men would be honored to be called Zaddy, but you also have to be that dude to embrace that name or to even be considered that. And in reality, I think our track record shows that we're deserving of the title Zaddy. We're not just your average dads. We're young dudes on a mission. We got our stuff in order, and you know we striving for greatness. We striving for better.
For sure.
So,
for sure.
My lady co-signed that it was a good name. So I'm pretty sure if she said that, I'm gonna go ahead and rock with it.
It's definitely catchy.
It's
definitely
catchy. I mean, I would love to know in the comments if anybody feels brave enough to let us know what you think about the name.
Definitely give us some feedback though. I want to know what y'all think of the name. I want to get y'all feelings on the topic. Last one, we just go last one. Zaddy, the level above being a daddy.
Okay. So it's like a step up.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay, well, you know, hopefully we can live up to our Zaddy names.
I think we some fire ass fathers, so
yeah, man.
I think it works.
And I guess. Okay, I got a question. Are you considered a father before your baby's born when it's in the belly?
Or I would say yeah. I would say yeah for sure. Okay. Because I feel like we talked about last time, like while your girl is pregnant, I think there's definitely a job you have to do. You have to be there nurturing her. You have to be there talking to the baby while he or she is in the womb, because that still builds that connection.
Yeah.
Even prior to him and her being born. So I think for sure, as soon as your girl gets pregnant, I feel like, man, you're dad.
Okay. I think that's cool because we just left the OB today, and you know I was like, I'm pretty proud that I haven't missed a doctor's appointment or that I've been there to take her so she doesn't feel like she's by herself. Because I mean, I'm not sitting up here saying that everybody's in the position to go to every doctor's appointment, but you know, I saw a lot of the other women there. They didn't have their guys with them. So I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm trying my best in whatever way I can step up. I'm trying to do that at the moment.
Yeah. I feel like the pandemic, in a way,
affected that.
Yeah, and it's kind of a blessing in disguise because you do have kind of time to go and do all those things with her. But for those guys who are going to be fathers or are fathers now, like, I feel like that's very important to be there with your significant other through those things, like just being there, supportive, like that means the world to them. And I think it can just do so many better things down the line, like for your child. It just helps you nurture and be there and say that you were there beforehand. So I think that's huge, bro.
That's dope, man. And I think another way that I feel like I've embraced the dad role even before my baby comes out. For the record, we are 37 weeks. Monday will be 38 weeks. So we there. I've really taken on the role of doing whatever I can to set our family up, that I can be the best provider that I can be. So I've been like working as hard as I can, trying to make connections for when the kid's alive and the kid's alive in the belly, but when the kid's actually out of the womb, that I can still be around. So I'm trying my best to like position myself to be there even when the baby's out and maybe the pandemic, it's not over, but when life goes closer to normal, I don't want to just go back 2 years to where I was locked into not being home. Because that was me at the time. I couldn't be home because I was working so much.
Right.
So I'm trying to maneuver to where when the baby's here, I'm here too.
Yeah, I think that's a very real topic, man. I feel like everybody deals with that, like trying to balance home and just being a good father and work. And so
it's tough.
Yeah,
I know a lot of men don't have the opportunity to be home, but they have an opportunity to be great providers. I'm trying to figure out how can I do both, be a great provider and be home. So hopefully this camera and my abilities, hopefully they can get me there faster. And vice versa, man. Me and you are building, we're building this platform. We got our own businesses. Hopefully we can get our businesses to the point to where they support our families.
Oh, for sure. That's the goal. I mean, that's right. The goal. That's the goal, to work for yourself, to make your own schedule so you make time for your loved ones. And I mean, that's ultimately what we've had that in our minds since we were a young age. Like, we've known what's important, and we know family's like one of the most important things, and you can't get back time. So right now I'm trying to make sure that, for me, Nala has 4 great grandparents.
That's amazing.
You know what I'm saying? So most people don't even get that. So the fact that I can have her around all 4 of them, like, as much as possible, I'm gonna do it. Just because, like, they get to see her. Life isn't promised,
That's beautiful too, because the fact that Nala has 4 great grandparents means that you have all your grandparents. And I miss my grandparents. You know what I'm saying? I got my grandma's alive. From my dad's side, that's a blessing. I have a step grandmother from my stepmom. But I think that's a great transition to what we really want to dive into episode 1.2 of the Zaddy Show. We want to talk about our fathers.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody reviewed the last episode, somebody close to me, and they thought it was dope. They loved it. They were like, hey, make sure you show some love to your dads, because people should know that y'all's dads have been in your lives, because they help make you the men that you are. And I thought that was a great point. Like, let's not put that energy out that we didn't have dads.
Yeah, we can't necessarily carry that stigma like our fathers were around, because they definitely were. I think for the most part, say we're probably raised by our mothers, but it's not like our dads weren't in the picture.
Yeah.
And they definitely still contributed.
Yeah, and like, I embrace this topic because, this is life. This is normal. You can have a baby with someone and you can end up not marrying them. You can end up not being with them. And that's okay, No matter. I understand in a later episode, we can talk about religion. We can talk about what you believe and your values. But when life happens, you're a man and a woman, you both have a responsibility to make it work for the kid when you have a kid. And one thing I admire most about my father is, although him and my mom, they didn't stay together, he stayed in my life, and he also made it very, very clear to me that I had a dad. So, like, I didn't go without. You get what I'm saying? So my dad was a man, and he is the person I look up to. So I think I want to go into more detail about that, but I do want to make it clear that my mom and my dad had me, and then they weren't together. They had me. My dad moved to Virginia. My mom moved to Houston. My dad found love in Charlottesville. And I feel super blessed that my dad found a wife, because my stepmom, Rita, she gave birth to my 2 brothers, Isaiah and Jamar. And I'm happy that I have 2 stepbrothers, and I actually don't want my mom and my dad to be together, because now I have 2 brothers out of it. So my dad found his love. My mom wasn't as fortunate in that situation. She got with a man that I refuse to say his name, but it wasn't a good relationship. It was a bad relationship, but she got out of that in due time. But that's why I'm in Houston. So everything happens for a reason. My mom raised me to be the man I am today, and so did my dad, even though that they weren't in the same city. We can go into more details later, but can you give us like a little...
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm as open to this topic, mainly because, like, my mom and my dad, it's a different scenario. Like, you're an only child until your father met your stepmom, right? I'm the middle child, so I have an older brother. So my mom and my dad had Drew, my older brother, when they were young, like teenagers. Mm-hmm. And so they kind of stuck with it, and then they had me, and then what I remember of my childhood is it was like it was on and off. Arguments, separating, getting back together, and then boom, they had my little sister. We try to build a house together, still try to keep that family knit and keep it together, but it didn't work, and which is cool because I have no animosity towards my parents, right? Just like you don't, like, they had to go their separate ways, and now that I'm older, I understand that, and you understand kind of like why they don't let you into their relationship, because as a child you're not really gonna understand, and it's between them. It's relationships are kind of just personal like that. Obviously, you just gonna get you're just gonna understand. I mean, not really too many people are gonna understand, so
yeah,
you kind of just have to grow with it. And I would say that my father was present, and he's there. I remember. I feel like I relate more to my father in a sense to where like he's there like for like sports, and like he taught me a lot of things like that ultimately brought me confidence in life, and I'm never gonna like forget that, and I'm always gonna appreciate my father for that. Could he have been there more? Obviously, so can any parent. So like you can't blame anybody for not being there, not trying to not understanding what it means to be a parent at any time, because parenting is so difficult. And now that I have a child, like that's what I understand the most. Like parenting is, you have to deal with it in your own way, and it's brand new. Just like we're talking about it right now, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to be able to express it. I want other people to see my story. Just like you, I mean, O2's not born yet, but I feel like everything you seeing me go through, it's gonna just help you. And that's kind of how I'm taking it right now. What I saw my parents go through, I'm just kind of trying to just transition and make Nala's life better by just adapting and being able to just make a transition into my life.
I love it, man. I also appreciate you because you got real with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talking about real life stuff. Like, there's no way around it. Life, how we've experienced it in a raw form, to where we're being honest, and we're still not being. We're opening up as comfortable as we are opening up, and I hope you all respect that.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be able to do this with any other person. Like you're my brother, so like. That's what makes it real, right?
That's what makes it real. And, let's take it there, because part of my story is, part of my mother's story is part of my story, and it's important for us to share our past so we can help people out there. So, my mom and my dad separated on good terms, as far as I know. And no matter what happened in that moment, they never showed me any negative. They hid it from me, or they just cleared up whatever they had to where they could separate and they could both be in my lives, and they could split, they could split custody, etc. I go to Virginia for winter breaks and summer breaks.
Right. You're also younger though too, because you were going to Virginia for summer.
They probably weren't together before I was even a full year old. So they had me. And
you had no recollection of that?
Yeah, I have no recollection, at least in my memory, of them being together. But I always had recollection of them being best friends, which is interesting. It's like, hold on, so your parents weren't together, but you remember them being friends? Like, I grew up with understanding that my mom and my dad are friends. As a kid, understanding that, I think that helps you mature and see life in a different way, because you're not confused about why they're not together. You just know that they're not.
That's rare.
That's super rare. So that's how I grew up. And then my dad being with my stepmom, Rita, she was like another mom. She is another mom for me, and she's a great mom. She treated me the same way she treated her boys. My dad treated her boys the same way he treated me. So it's like, I actually had, and I'm going to take it a little further, I actually had a getaway, because going to see my dad in Virginia I got to see what a real family looked like. Because in Houston, my mom was in an abusive relationship with a man that basically uprooted us from El Paso. I'm from El Paso, Texas. Brought us to Houston. My mom was stranded. She was on her own. It's getting real. My mom was brought to Houston by a man that obviously promised her to be, husband material. Come to find out, he was an abusive husband. And imagine being a woman, uprooting, coming to a big city like this by yourself, being with a man that's a state trooper. So he's the law. You know what I'm saying? The man that The man that's hurting you is the law.
I never knew he was a state trooper.
Yeah, we gonna open up. He's the law. You have a son, and you're just trying to do what's best for your family. I applaud my mom for getting out when she did, but I can't imagine being a woman in that situation, taking care of a little boy. I was 3 years old. You know what I'm saying? She might have been with him until I was 6, so 3 years. And she had to hide that from my dad, because my dad would have, come on, man, my dad would have put hands on this dude. Probably would have ended up in jail. Who knows what would have happened? My mom ends up in that situation, and she has to get out from the both of us. And what's so interesting about that situation is that she got out of it before I was old enough to probably want to put hands on that man myself. You know, it could have been a bad situation. So I've been through a lot, looking at relationships, looking at family, and this is why I feel like it's so important for us to talk about mothers, because once you are the product of a single mother, you become a protector naturally. You become a man early because your mom is, you know, you protect your mom even if you're too young to really understand what that means. You're gonna be a man one day. You're gonna protect your mom. So I feel like me and my mom are best friends, and we've gone through a lot. And that's why a lot of the times when I talk about my family, I always talk about my mom, because my dad told me your number one responsibility is take care of your mom. So shout out to my dad for, you know what I'm saying, maybe not always getting the shout outs first, or, you know what I'm saying, shout out to my dad for being understanding enough to know that I do it for my mom. Mm-hmm. But I got love for my dad, and I'm gonna take care of him too. But I think it's good for y'all to know where I come from. And this is another reason why I wanna have this show, because at some point we should talk about other things, you know, that come with relationships. And, you know, we should talk about domestic violence. We should talk about a lot of topics that are real, but we should address them, because maybe we have a little insight to other parts of life that'll help improve relationships.
Yeah, for sure, because too much of that goes on the slide. Like, you never know what people are going through. You never know if a woman's going through domestic violence because she can't speak up. Like, these are topics that we need to bring to light, and I think it's crucial. And I think that should be another topic. If y'all know somebody, or if y'all yourselves are going through that, man, hit us up, talk to us. Like, we here for y'all, because I mean, you never really know how many people are like alone in those scenarios. And just like your mom, like she
was alone.
She ain't had nobody to turn to.
She couldn't tell anybody, because imagine being in her shoes, and how you gonna tell on a cop? Maybe you feel like if you do tell on a cop, nobody's gonna listen. Maybe you feel like that, or maybe you feel like you're gonna work it out. Like, women go through so much to where they feel like they have to be more than human. They have to be superhuman because they're taking care of, you know, a family. So this one's for all the moms out there. And then let me say this one thing. My mom is super strong. She grew from that situation. She got us out of the situation. So if y'all ever wondering where the strength comes from and like why I am the way I am, it's a major part because I feel like that's because of our parents. We get a lot of stuff from our moms.
Definitely, for sure.
And like you said, your dad was in your life and he taught you about sports, and that helps you have the confidence that you have. I got my confidence from my dad as well, straight up. Like, there's no other way to put it. What'd you get from your dad? I am the type of man that I am because I'm basically my dad. You come to realize the older you get, the more you're like your father. And it's cool when you know your father, because then you can kind of trace it back to like, that's why I'm acting like this.
Yeah.
That's
you can understand yourself more a little bit.
It's like a cheat code. Like, if you know your dad, you can find it out. And then I have a lot of friends that don't know their fathers, but you always have that opportunity to rewrite the future. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to repeat the history. So if you have a father that wasn't in your life, do not become an absent father. Does that make sense?
For sure.
Like, be better. Be better than your father, even if your father was amazing. Because I guarantee you they want you to be better. And if you did not know your father, if you don't have a father, then all you gotta do to be better than him is be in your kid's life. That's it. So you start off better. You know what I'm saying? So much love, man.
And I just want to build on that, like, because I mean, it's not just our mothers and fathers, because I feel like in a way my brother was kind of a second father figure, as well as like my grandfathers and my uncles. Like, excuse me, I feel like they just being around them kind of every day, like they taught me so much. And my brother, I feel like my brother is a little bit wiser than his years, and he's still showing me so many things, and just how to handle yourself, because he saw my parents before I did. He saw a little bit more, so he kind of just translated that and was just able to just be an older brother as well as my father, in a sense, to like me and my sister.
That's awesome.
And my
Drew.
grandparents, yeah, Drew, you already know.
Yeah, Drew is the OG.
And good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome home to the Bay Park. And tonight's American League game, as your Houston Astros take on the Oakland Athletics. Let's get it. You ready? Right, six shortstop, number 1, Carlos Correa. Back seventh in right field, number 30, Kyle Tucker. Batting eighth in center field, number 3, Miles Straw. And batting ninth and catching, number 15, Martin Marlon.